These kennels in Albourne in Sussex are home to 4 Hove trainers, including Stuart Maplesden.
There is 4 Hove trainers. Each trainer's got 2 blocks each, apart from me, who's got 1 block of 40, and I've purchased some standalone kennels which I've got out in the paddock outside. They're great. They're very spacious for 2 dogs. Lovely and warm in the winter, all insulated and everything. Got a nice bit of free breeze in the summer. So that's how my setup is here. I've got 4 members of staff, 3 full-timers and me, and a part-timer who comes in the evenings and does some mornings for me.
And it's a nice vibe around here. There's yourself, Derek Knight, Belinda Green and Claude Gardner, and you know, a nice grassy area out the front where you can have a coffee, and you know, I guess you're on hand to help each other if needed.
Yes, we're all quite friendly over here. Some of us smile more than others, but that's irrelevant. Yeah, well, if anyone's in trouble, we'll all rally around and help. It's not a problem, yeah. We're all there for each other, definitely.
Tell us how you ended up training greyhounds.
Just by Claude offering me a job in the first place. I always wanted to get involved properly. And then when Claude approached me and said, we've got a kennel hand space, would you like to work? I said, yeah, I'll jump at the chance. Took a big pay cut to do it, I must admit, but then just progressed from there, really. And Doreen approached me, because I had dogs with Doreen years ago, and she said, look, I'm struggling a bit now with my health. Any chance of leaving Claude's and coming to work for me? And I said, yeah, no problem, I'll come and work for you. So I ended up with assistant trainer with Doreen after a couple of years, and then took over about 4 years later, I think it was.
That is, of course, Doreen Walsh, who you learnt an awful lot from. And prior to that, though, you were involved in greyhounds as an owner.
Yes, definitely. I had, back in the early 80s, I had a dog, so it was about 83, I think it was, when I was 16. I had a share in Creamery Cross, I think it was, and I had Sly Ash, Sly Girl. That's in the late 80s, early 90s. Then I had a rest from it and got back into it in probably 08 onwards, got back into it seriously.
And a betting shop background as well?
Yes, got a betting shop background, run a few betting shops, area manager for trainer betting shops as well. That was interesting, I must admit. It was quite glad to get out of that. I haven't got to deal with the general public apart from my owners now.
So mainly what you learnt was from Claude and mostly from Doreen.
Yes.
What is important to you when it comes to training greyhounds?
Looking after them properly, really. A happy dog is a winning dog as far as I'm concerned, and we always try and follow them through after they retire as well, get homes for them locally if we can, because we prefer that. Otherwise we use send them to Scotland if we can't find a local home.
And welfare is massively the priority to you, right from the beginning of their racing career through to finding their sofa. Yep,
definitely. If dogs, care is the most important thing to me. I don't care about anything else. I'd like to win races, but if they come back safe and sound, that's the main thing.
You've also got 6 at home yourself, so you're sort of putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak.
Yes, we take the waste and strays home normally, or something that, anything that's not really suitable for homing, if it's got something wrong with it or it's a bit nervous and shy, I'll take it home, because it's all right in the kennels with the kennel staff and the wife, and that's fine, yeah. So we just, we end up with them.
I'm sure the viewers can hear it's incredibly quiet in the background here. The dogs are very content, and I think part of that is probably due to the fact you've got this massive field and they go out there sometimes more than once a day.
Yeah, definitely. At least once a day, probably twice a day if we can get the 6 let-outs in. Yeah, they just enjoy themselves. A lot of them just stand by the gate, but a few of them do have a little run around, and yeah, they thoroughly enjoy it out there.
Do you worry about them doing too much?
No, because they're not out long enough, and they might just do 1 lap of the field, and they're just used to it. We haven't really got even the nutters like Dolly and Dolores. They don't actually. They'll go once around the field and then they come back to the gate, and it's like. So yeah, they've had enough then, and we know that.
What else is important to you? What about feeding and grooming and things like that?
Yeah, feeding is definitely good. I like to keep an eye on the weights. I'm quite hot on the weights, I must admit. Try and work out what their best weight is, and kennel staff, we work it out by taking the average of their top ratings and dividing the weights by 5 and etc, and we come up with their top weight, and we try and rigidly stick with them if we can. And grooming's definitely, yeah. Dogs love it, so keep the dog happy.
And it's that one-on-one attention. You can see that all your dogs respond so well to you.
Oh yeah, they're all happy. There's even the grumpy ones, one that's been barking at you all morning, he'll wag his tail when you get him out. He's fine. So yeah, they're all happy.
And for you, I think it's fair to say your training career personally has gone much better, much quicker than you thought. So what's the ambition going forward?
The ambition is definitely the Greyhound Derby, obviously, but that's every trainer's ambition. But I'd just like to compete and have dogs in the kennel that I can take elsewhere and know I can compete, rather than just turning up, making up the numbers.